Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 119 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that yes, we do know that this film is going to answer many of the burning questions from The Force Awakens, as well as offering many different twists and turns that is really going to change how we view the past 8 Star Wars movies and the entire Skywalker saga, and the fact that George Lucas is significantly involved with the story really, I believe, is going to make this story a whole lot more interesting and enjoyable, because it's going to feel like a more authentic Star Wars movie. Now, on top of all of this, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm, as well as George Lucas, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's described that during the rewrites of the film for the months of November and December of 2018, just late last year, is when George Lucas was significantly involved with the rewriting of the film, where it's explained that he made major adjustments to the second and third acts of the movie. It's described that George Lucas directed and wrote specific scenes that would fix elements of the character of Luke Skywalker that many fans did not approve of in The Last Jedi, and that George Lucas is also working very hard with J.J. Abrams during post-production of how the Luke scenes should be edited together. It's described that George's first approach to creating a more authentic version of Skywalker was allowing Mark Hamill to deliver his own lines of dialogue as Luke in the film that would come off in a more natural way by combining his dialogue based on a general scene, and that Mark Hamill did a phenomenal job at delivering a different side of Skywalker. Additionally, it's said that George gave Luke a surprise action-based sequence in the film, as well as a sequence in which he will teach Leia the ways of the Jedi and the Force, as well as a scene of Luke and his Jedi students and his new Jedi Order to show that side of Luke that fans have never actually seen before in the Skywalker saga, that fans have wanted to see for a very long time since The Force Awakens, alongside with a handful of other Luke scenes in the forms of flashbacks. Now, what's great about George is that we do know that he loves the character of Luke. He spent a very long time, I don't know if you guys knew the process, but George spent a very long time coming up with the character of Luke Skywalker. In fact, I believe in the early drafts, if I'm not mistaken, Luke was originally a female warrior, I believe at the very beginning, that changed, all the way over to a male warrior. Went through many different names, many different designs, and we ultimately got Luke, who became a fan favorite character, not just in Star Wars, but in pop culture and in film history, and that's a big deal for George Lucas. So the fact that he is on board with The Rise of Skywalker and fixing elements of the character of Skywalker that's going to be more true to his character, and how the first step to all of this was allowing Mark Hamill to deliver his very own lines of dialogue, I think is fantastic. I don't know if you guys ever watched a lot of press out there involving Mark, but he actually came up with great lines of dialogue for Skywalker and great story ideas. You can really see inside the mind of Mark Hamill. In all honesty, he really could be a writer if he wanted to be. So with George Lucas working very close with J.J. Abrams, the fact that he's working very hard in post-production and exactly how the scenes involving Luke should be edited together and how they should be placed in the first, second, and third acts of the film, and how he's also giving us, a handful of sequences that will involve Luke in an action scene and training his Jedi students and offering a little lesson to Leia about the Force and the Jedi in the form of a flashback where they're going to de-age both Luke and Leia. It really sounds like that this film is going to show us a big side of Luke's past that we have never seen before in the Skywalker saga, sometime in between the events of episodes 6 and 7, which is a large time jump. That's 30 plus years. That's a big time jump. So with that being said, George Lucas, we do know that he had to sell off Lucasfilm to Disney because, well, he just wanted to. He didn't really feel like making a handful of Star Wars films, and at the time, many years ago, he felt Disney was the proper company to send it off to. And that was the only thing that I had an issue with, was that Disney would not let George in on The Force Awakens. They wouldn't even let him in on The Last Jedi, and now he's in on The Rise of Skywalker, which really does speak volumes. I think that this all roots from The Last Jedi backlash and everything that came, with it, how it changed over 10 years worth of Star Wars stories that they had in the works in early development, mind you. and just how Disney and Lucasfilm had to change the entire future of the franchise based on that backlash. So with that being said, guys, I will say that I have full faith in this movie, the fact that George is involved, how he was the one directly responsible for including a lot of EU content, as well as giving us a more true version of Luke Skywalker in this film. In case you guys did not know, it was George who came up with the idea of de-aging Mark Hamill for some of the sequences in this film, so we're going to get a very different side of Skywalker that we have never seen before in all 9 Star Wars movies to date. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.